Hey everybody! Thanks for hanging with us again. Another episode of Breakpoint Now. Once again, my name is Jesse Leon, agent for Breakpoint Now. If you guys don't know about us, we're a boutique booking agency, somewhat new, but we've built a lot of connections. We have a lot of legends on the roster as well as some really good up and coming artists. So, like I said, I want to bring up one of those up and coming artists. They're the really talented band Gleewood, straight out of Nashville, Tennessee. Let's add them to the stream.
Hey.
What's
Callie,
up,
Sue,
man?
Jet, how you guys doing?
Good evening.
Yeah. Glad to see you guys. Like I said before, we were saying to actually get a face to the voice. So glad to have you guys on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. And I'm also, like you said, we just announced that you guys have joined the Breakpoint booking roster. So that's pretty exciting. I'm glad to be able to work with you guys on that front.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, man. I can't wait to where we can put together some tours and actually do what we all do best, right?
I know.
Man, I know. Yeah, with the whole COVID thing, it's been, a tornado basically. But we always stay positive over here, and we'll do what we can, right?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. I think it'll be good coming within the new year, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're really eager to play, and so I think a lot of folks are eager to hear some live music for sure.
Oh man, you're telling me, that's why I got into this business, because I just love live music, and not being able to go to not be able to spend $10 a beer. I'd kill for a $10 beer right now.
Right.
I know.
But cool. So first, let's start off. How did you guys meet? How did you guys create Gleewood?
Oh, well, they are a little bit of different stories, but they're also the same. I wrote my first song the day I met Callie Sue in a bookstore in New Mexico. Where we both hail from. South Central New Mexico is where we're from, and I met Callie Sue in the classic section of a bookstore, and she's fourth generation ranch girl, cowgirl, and saw those Wrangler jeans and tall top leather boots, and I said, "Who is this lady? Who is this lady?" And so we met that day, and I got her number. Couldn't get a hold of her for a while because she lived out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service.
Yeah.
But I was inspired to write my first song that day. And then, what was it, 3 years later?
Yeah, 3 years later that we really started. We actually did a couple open mics together where we would sing. And then it was because of you that I picked up the bass. I had always wanted to play a stringed instrument and hadn't really dedicated the time, didn't really know where to start. And really with the project Gleewood and playing with Jet, I learned how to play the bass. So it kind of, our musical journey and our love story kind of goes hand in hand.
And we started out, naively playing anywhere and everywhere, living out of the back of our car for quite a while, playing folk songs because that's all we could pull off. And then we kind of evolved into a rock and roll band somewhere in there. Maybe it was all the dive bars. I don't know what happened. Yeah. We started writing a lot more rock and roll, especially after we started touring with a band out of Sweden called Secret Circus.
Mm-hmm.
And they helped us produce more of that sound. And out of Roswell, New Mexico is where we did a lot of that recording. And then, it's just been a journey ever since. And although we still play lots of rock and roll, we love stripping down to our roots.
Back to the duo,
and back to the acoustic duo. We've been doing a lot more of that lately, especially here in Nashville.
Right. Oh, so you said you were originally from New Mexico. What made you want to move to Nashville? Obviously, it's a hotbed for music, but what kind of sparked that interest?
Well, it was a long time coming, really. We got to tour the U.S. and Europe without having to touch any music city, really. Really having to invest in one, which was quite different and really exciting. We didn't really feel drawn to go to Austin or L.A. or Nashville or New York or any of those types of places when we first started. We just were like, man, we just got to figure out what we're doing and how to do it. And we got led on a really interesting trail of being able to book shows a lot on our own, and then with some small booking agents too. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And then the time came, we toured through Nashville on a little duo tour, actually, and we really enjoyed it. And then we had a couple of our musician friends from the Southwest moved to Nashville about 2 years ago. And they were telling us about just how awesome it was, all the education and the peers and just what you can learn. And it was really, really exciting. It sounded exciting. And we hadn't lived in a music city. And the timing was right. We got off of a really intense European tour, and we were ready to kind of settle for a minute. And so when we moved to Nashville, it was just the right time. Just the right time.
Oh, so, I bet. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. I heard it's beautiful out there. I have another client from Tennessee. He's from Memphis, but he's taught me a little bit about it. But yeah, I know it's a music hotbed. So yeah, why wouldn't you, right? It's like, why wouldn't you want to move to LA or New York? And like, if that's really what your goal is to break it in the music industry, yeah, that's what you have to do. That's awesome. So first shout out to Mark Mokel for actually making this happen.
Absolutely, man.
I know.
And yeah, so first thing that I noticed while listening to your music was your unique style of writing songs. You know what I mean? It's very colorful, like well, not colorful, but very intricate. You could tell you guys really put a lot of work into your songwriting. And I was just wondering, how are you guys able to tell a story like that? And how do you get your inspiration for writing lyrics like that?
Well, Callie and I are self-proclaimed geeks on all facets. I mean, we do a lot of reading. We watch a lot of films. We love stories. We love stories, man. We love the art of storytelling, and that was our first love. We had no idea that we were going to be doing it through music when we met, and it just kind of became the medium that we both connected on. So we draw inspiration from a lot of family history. From my great grandfather came over from Sicily on one side of the family, and Germany from the other, and became a Pinkerton, and one was an outlaw. Callie's family were a bunch of Scots, and they settled in New Mexico and were outlaws out there for a little while. So she's got kind of the agricultural background as well that we draw out. Her family, still, they're like out of a straight old West movie. They'll, on a snowy day, they'll gather around the fire and pull out the guitar and sing cowboy ballads. And although we don't, play traditional music like that, that's like that's a deep part of what we do.
Yeah.
That storytelling and that intimate feel that a song can have. And we don't draw from a lot. We like long-winded songs. We just don't try and write 2.5-minute pop songs. Like, that's just never been something that we were drawn to at all. And if the song doesn't take you somewhere, I mean, I know albums like to ride, but we really, especially with this project, we like to create songs that take you on a little bit of a journey as well, have a chance to arc with the character of the story or the feel,
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can't imagine how fun that is to be with the family and gathered around a campfire and just jam. Oh my God, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's crazy, man.
They're probably, actually, shout out to my mom and dad. I think they're watching right now.
I'm sure they are.
They are.
Yeah.
And my dad actually plays a lot with us, and my mom, and so whenever we're back in New Mexico, we really go back to that for a lot of evenings and jam and that element of storytelling. And so thank you for kind of pointing that out. I'm glad that really glad that it's coming across. We hope that storytelling aspect comes across.
Yeah. Oh, and so I'm a big hip hop fan, but some of my favorites are the storytellings. What I mean? Like, that goes way back. That goes way back. And like I said, that's why I appreciate a good story. Man. Yeah, I appreciate a good story. And like I said, I like it to build and yeah, you guys do it perfectly. So I
love Atmosphere. Atmosphere has a couple songs that are really story driven. I think he's got one called The Wolf. And man, that's a big influence.
I think I definitely know that one. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know if you can see Slick Rick. over
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Slick Rick is one of those old school rappers. But yeah, so yeah, I can hear like a lot of the different genres in your music. You know, I love that you can mix a little bit of folk, some rock, some blues. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, I love all music. You know, and if it's good, it's good. And how do you guys like? Who are you guys? Some of your biggest influences? Where do you kind of draw your influences from?
It's pretty all over the place. Maybe you can kind of tell that a little bit because we have. I mean, you can just kind of tell if you listen to our music. You can tell the kind of seasons we're in of who we're listening to. Well, who do you want to name off first?
I mean, for this, Callie and I listen to such variations of music. I mean, today on my drive home, I was listening to one of my favorite heavy metal bands, The Sword, and I know you were listening to like some theatrical soundtracks
I
and
was
stuff.
Listening to, yeah. I mean,
it's so all over the place. But for this project, we listened to we get to draw a lot of inspiration from late '60s, like folk rock music that was, you know, spiritually, politically driven with kind of intelligent lyrics, that also had that kind of loose jam vibe. You know what I mean? It was loose and it was just starting to be folk was just starting to become electric and breed with rock and blues. And it was this, I don't know, it just created a palette that was the sound of that era.
Exactly. I mean, everything from Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood to the Animals to James Taylor to Carole King to Buffalo Springfield.
But then, you know,
Miller Band. But then we have a lot of modern
we are
influences.
90s kids. So you know, like when it's time to rock and roll, you know, we definitely draw on the, you know, garage rock revival scene, like the White Stripes and Black Keys and BRMC, Black Pistol Fire.
Rival Sons and Ava Brothers are a huge influence. Well, Ava Brothers are like this pinnacle of encouragement and hope that like a folk rock band can really be true to themselves for their whole music career. At least that's how we feel about them. So they're a big influence. And then, I mean, that's the scope.
And like I said, I think most successful artists do have to draw from different genres, you know, and because if you just play one thing, you're kind of pigeonholed into that one thing. So like I said, most of the artists, you know, they like to pick off a little bit of everything. So yeah, that's great. I know, like I said, I love hearing it because I could change it to like rock and roll's dead. You know, that's more like that rock, that hard rock. Then that Whiskey Soothe, I got a little more of that blues feel, you know. And I love to be able to like, you know, change the same artist, different songs. You know what I mean? Like I love it. That's what drew me to you guys, and that's why, you know, I wanted to reach out and whatnot. But yeah,
that's awesome, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your latest release was Sweet Sweet Time, right? A couple years ago. So you're in the code right now. Are you guys working on any music right now? Are you guys preparing something else for you guys?
We are, yeah. It's changed a lot. Like we had a lot of plans at the beginning of the year, like a lot of people did, I'm sure. And but the change has been a good thing. Instead of trying to produce a new album or a new EP like we had maybe intended, it instead turned out putting a lot of effort, a lot of producing this new single and really working on the lyrics and really working on the construction of the song, picking people we wanted to work with that we've met, you know, throughout our time traveling. And we really went into the studio, just us, and a lot of folks had to do, you know, distance recordings, but we really put a lot more work, I feel like, into the single. A lot more like ahead of time, carefully planned work and orchestrating like the string section and getting everything dialed in just how we wanted it. And also this is our first real song that was self-produced. We've always brought in outside. Well, we've been able to work with some great producers that have helped us. Yeah, exactly. Who read our mind and who helped us, or who helped pull some things out of us that we were just too green to know what to do. Like Klaus Alman with Secret Circus and Yule and Richard Cagle, Dea in Belgium. Yeah, John and just all these people. So this single was kind of, we were out here in Nashville, and a lot of people we knew weren't comfortable with getting into the studio, so it was just Jet and I and the engineer and Joey with Nebulous Records, and it was really awesome. So that's what we've been working on, but we've been taking our time.
And there's two things, you know, a lot of our friends and fans and family have, you know, come to Gleewood shows to get. We try and always bring joy, you know, even though we have some dark songs, you know, we're sold out believers in Christ and what he did for us on the cross. And that we try, and even though we write and play dark songs and, you know, sexy songs and all that, we always try and wrap up the show with hope and joy. And, you know, that's kind of where our name comes from. And so this song is really close to the chest lyrically. That's going to be coming out. It's called Goodbye Yesterday. And it's just, you know, we had fans reach out to us and they were like, man, I need a song to lift my spirits right now. And so we felt compelled, even though we've been writing a ton of music, we felt compelled to write something that was fresh for these times in order to, you know, lay to rest all the trash that we let build up in our own lives before 2020 and got built up in our lives in 2020. And hopefully at the end of this year, you know, we can lay a lot of those things to rest and move forward, you know? So that's kind of what the song's all about.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So saying adios to yesterday is a good thing.
That's right.
And letting the new mercies for each new day kind of take over. So that's the premise of the song. And it will actually be coming out publicly on November 24th, but anybody within our newsletter circle and everything is going to be getting it on November 9th. So
awesome.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
everywhere.
What way to make new music is with something like this happening to you, right? Like, it's such good inspiration, you know. And like I said, a lot of my clients too, they're like, well, I guess I got to work on my album since I can't go touring. So, and they're on the same boat. They're actually putting more time into one album as opposed to just getting songs out real fast. So yeah,
right.
Exactly. Like I said, I hear that from a lot of artists, you know, they can really work on their masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really, you know, and I can't wait for some of these albums to come out, because it's going to just be like,
it's going to be crazy.
Great music's coming out of so many awesome artists for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for that too. And so you guys are like, you guys travel a lot. You guys do an average of 200 shows a year, more than 200 shows a year. And obviously now you can't, you know, so what have you guys been doing to try to, like, you know, as opposed to your music, what have you guys do to kind of stay busy? Or you say you guys like to read, you guys like to watch movies?
Yeah, well, we've really kind of had to put some of the musical things aside and let some other creative endeavors take hold. So we've done a few live streams here and there with the Gleewood project, but we've been focusing a lot on some writing. Jet's been working on a type of tour book, some stories from the road and from the tour, and then I've been working on a novel that I've been writing on for several years, but finally had the time to finish it because we weren't on the road. And so I've been doing that, and then of course Jet's Jet Black project, we've had more time to dedicate to that. Which
my blues project, I've been working on that and trying to collaborate with people around Tennessee.
And then just working.
You know, we our fans have been super supportive, but we are still an independent band. We have worked with some labels in Europe, but you know, when it all hit the fan, we're like, well, we gotta change gears fast. And so I went out and got a job gardening, and kind of fell in love with it, man. And so I've been out in the gardens working here in Nashville and kind of learning a little bit of a new trade. And actually from that, you know, I've been super grateful, one, for the work, because there's tons of artists here that, you know, haven't been able to step right into something else to keep the money flowing. And I feel like I was really fortunate to be able to do that. And it was freaking hot this summer. So hot, dude. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh man. But it was really cool because I've kind of come out of the gardens with a whole concept album of garden-based songs as well.
Oh, wow.
which is kind of cool too. So
Which is
maybe
cool.
That's funny.
maybe some point in time those will surface.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to sticking the spade in the ground and leaving it there for a little while when
Yeah.
touring is available again.
Yeah, but I mean the music industry has definitely taken a turn with, not being able to do from everybody, booking tons of live shows to absolutely zero going on. And same here in Nashville. It's actually been pretty, I don't know, it really shook the city up. Just no tourism. And then, there's, 100+ shows a night here in Nashville, from big names to the smallest, and for that to go to zero is pretty disheartening. So it's got to next phase. What's the next phase of live music, and what's it going to look like in the new year? So we'll be doing a lot of house concerts and private shows, which we've done a lot in the past.
Limited ticket shows,
as you know, and like kind of working towards very specific types of shows. I'm not sure if road dogging it will really be the answer in 2021, but we'll still get around the globe.
Yeah. None of us. The
Yeah.
thing about none of us know anything what's to come. Like none of it. We can take a guess, but we don't. No one knows for sure what's gonna happen. So yeah. Like I said, the live streaming definitely it's gonna be a whole other dynamic of the music game. So the fact that you guys are already doing that is good. To dip your foot in there, and then it's probably gonna have to be a little bit more once next year comes. But
yeah, we've done quite a few for both projects, Jet Black and Gleewood, but we're technically doing our last Gleewood live stream on November 8th. And because we're kind of shifting gears with how we're going to do it. And if you want to know why it's the last stream for Gleewood, live stream for Gleewood in that way, you'll have to tune in on November 8th. And we're doing it from Barn Door Broadcasting here in Nashville.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it'll be up on Facebook, Gleewood on Facebook, and then Gleewood on YouTube, and GleewoodMusic.com is where people can be
actually,
directed.
I made something for you here.
Oh, nice! Hey,
Oh.
Thanks,
Nice.
man. Yeah, exactly. So you'll be able to check it out on there, and we'll be doing a live duo show, and then be talking about the new stuff. Lots of new things. Lots of new content.
So
Make sure you check it out, November 8th.
I got a question for you. Are you are the artists in your roster, are they rapping at your door? Are they like wondering, when you're going to start putting shows together? Are they or
like I said, I just think everybody is no one really knows what's going on. And so, and even to this day, like every day I'm sending out some emails just to venues to be like, what do you got going on? Do you have like a target date you're looking at? So, and they all say like, thanks for reaching out. We'd love to have some of your acts, but we don't know what's going on. So everyone's in a stalemate right now, and I think we just gotta know that we can't get too anxious, but most people understand. They understand. They know that I don't have all the answers, right? I would never pretend to, but I say everyone sit tight, get your social media game up, do some like live streaming. You can go on Twitch and get tips, or even on YouTube you can get tips. Like there's some ways to make some money, you just gotta,
it's possible. It's possible. We've had some friends that have been able to ride out the whole thing just through live streams and Twitch. And they're doing weekly episodes on each platform, and they've just been grinding it out that way. And we've separated some of our live streams out a little bit further because I felt like it was a little bit more important for us to take this time to focus on writing rather than producing content. So that way,
we kind of
when our season comes back out, we can really, have a lot to draw from for a long time, because that was something we ran into while we were living out of the van and stuff so much. Is we, sometimes, you play that many shows and you do that many rehearsals, and it's like, you run out of energy to write,
To be creative.
and time and space to write, because you're just like, oh man, I gotta get ready for the next show and the next show
and
the
all
next show.
all the social media stuff in between, and all that work. I mean, you're looking at a desk job plus a driving job plus, you know, gear schlepper plus all this stuff, and we got burned out, you know.
Yeah.
And
social media is it's a lot of work to be able to keep up on it.
It is.
Yeah. So but I think we've had a really good break, and we're gonna slingshot into the next year, Lord willing.
Right. Yeah. No, fingers crossed. I hope so too. How many members do you guys have in a band? I think you said, Jet, that you do have other people you can bring in. What would you say your full capacity band is?
Well, we've done a number of 5-piece shows and 4-piece shows. 5-piece show would be a drummer, another guitar player, Callie on bass, and then like a string of some sort, like a fiddle or a cello.
Okay.
Depending.
We kind of rotated out like a lead player of sorts, and the Jet plays a lot of lead, or the second guitar player might, but we've really had a lot of fun adding another, you know, folk instrument on top of kind of our more rock sound, and so it kind of really brings that folk rock vibe to life. So we've done 4 or 5-piece.
The most shows we perform are power trio.
Yeah.
Just drum, bass, guitar.
Yeah.
2 vocals, you know, straight up, like stripped down sets like that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how we tour the most. But we do a lot of like folk festivals and listening rooms and house concerts and radio shows as the duo. So,
right.
And how we do that is she plays the upright bass, and then I play resonator guitar, and then we both use foot percussion and kind of share the burden of the drums.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw that upright bass. That bass is badass.
Thanks.
It looks cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we do it. It just depends on the scenario, you know.
Right.
It really just depends on what kind of venue we're playing.
And thankfully our sound and how we write songs is very conducive to being fluid like that, where we can really strip it down and you can just hear our harmonies and how we play music together, or we can expand it and turn it into jams, and you're like, oh wow, you know, this one song that I've heard as a duo that's very sweet and kind as a duo can really turn into something that people can dance to and enjoy. And that kind of roller coaster is what we've always really loved about some of our favorite bands and influences. And so we like to bring that to the stage. You know, we hope that we have, and we hope that our fans have enjoyed those kinds of shows. They get a little chaotic because it's kind of like rewriting the songs each time. You know, you get the new band members in, and all of a sudden, like, okay, we got this new instrument. All right, how are we going to put it into this song? And so on and so forth. So it can be a bit of a ride, but that is what's really fun and what we've really enjoyed about what we've been blessed with in the past, with playing with so many different talented people from New Mexico and Europe and across. It's been really cool what we've been able to do on stage with people. Man, sometimes it's completely flopped. But that's that.
Yeah, you guys do play a lot of shows in Europe. I went on your website, and you guys got a lot of cosigns from out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know why someone could like you, but like, how did you kind of start that following in Europe?
Oh, well, I know that we keep going back to this house concert thing, but New Mexico, there's not a whole lot of people. Like it's a really small community. So whenever you get referred to somebody there, things can kind of happen really randomly and sort of swiftly. We met some Germans at a house concert. They were stationed down there in Alamogordo, New Mexico, the Air Force Base. And we had kind of just planned on doing a little tiny, like, we've always wanted to play music in Europe really bad. We love Europe. Before, when we had money, we used to like go over there and be tourists. And then we're like, man, we got to get back, and we got to get back with music somehow. But we really had no clue if our style was anything, or how do you book over there, or what. And so it really helped to have those house concert connects, which opened the door to, man, it was a lot the same. It was a lot the same as far as booking and how you get started and how you get going in the United States. There's a few little communication details, but really it's...
Get a couple private shows as staples, and then you send out thousands of emails.
Thousands and thousands.
And thankfully there was a few people that were kind of like acted as heralds for us, you know, that were spreading our music around. And both times we returned, we did really well, and our following grew over there quite rapidly.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was really, we've been really fortunate in Europe, and still play small, intimate shows over there, but few festivals. Yeah, but every show was great.
Yeah,
and we have played a lot over there.
And from an indie artist, and then back when several years ago, whenever Facebook was really effective and you didn't have to spend money on ads and all that stuff, and information just got around a lot faster. We did really well, and our music was exposed over there through some channel, whether it was a fan or an algorithm, I don't really know, but we ended up having a lot of people come to our shows who had been listening to us online that we had no idea. They're like, oh, we've been listening to you on iTunes and, Deezer and stuff like that. So somehow that really clicked in. So when we went over there the first time, and then with Secret Circus, a band from Sweden, toured with us, we had a really good base. The shows were kind of all over the place. It was a little random, but we had a really good base, good fans, and we were able to go there again and expand that. And we love playing Spain. We love playing Germany and Belgium, and they're such amazing people, and we love them.
We also, another thing that was really helped as well, really intense, but we spent 3 months busking the streets in Galway, Ireland, which is kind of like a tourist hub spot for the rest of Europe. And we played like 6 to 8 hours a day on the streets in Ireland for 3 months straight before a follow-up 4-month tour.
Yeah.
So like from that,
we had to, because we were broke.
From that, we, stayed in contact with a lot of people across the rest of Europe before we went on that tour. So that was a big help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then M&O Music released Sweet Sweet Time over there officially, which was a small indie label out of France, and got the album in some stores and gave us a good boost. So that's another reason why we've been riding off of that one album for a couple of years, is because we get to re-release it in Europe and add a couple extra songs for that release. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, I saw you had a deluxe edition of that one.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so last question before we get into some music. I'd love to hear you guys. I know I want the world to hear you guys too. What advice can you give a young up and comer to, like, do what you guys do? Do those 200 shows a year. What advice would you give somebody like that?
Don't do it. No, just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
That's not what she
No, I get it.
I don't know. Let's see. What would I have liked? I don't know. There's so much. Whenever you're ready, whenever you're really thinking about it, and you're planning it, and you're mulling it over, and that's what you want to do with your career, it doesn't matter what kind of advice anybody gives you, you're going to go for it. So go hard, go at it, take care of yourself, like your physical self. I think is probably the biggest thing, which I'm sure a lot of people told me and I disregarded. But I mean, that's a huge part, because then if you're physically healthy, you can go along, stay straight on a better path than getting blown around.
I heard sleep is very important.
Yeah,
I'm not an artist, so I don't know, but I heard sleep is one of the most important things you can do as an artist.
Yeah.
I think we got a lot. We've gotten a lot of good advice over the years, and I don't think we listened to much of it. But the biggest one that I know we didn't listen to was the health and the eating, right? Consistently and sleeping well. When you're out there grinding and just trying to make it work, you're just in go mode all the time, which is great. That's what it takes.
No, that's what it takes.
That's what it takes. You have to get that bullheadedness in your head that says, this is gonna, there's $50 in the bank account and we've got 20 more shows to go. Like, how are we gonna make this work? And you just do. You have to have that tenacity, and it will work out. It will work out. But don't compromise your physical health along the way.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the and the other thing too is you're gonna change. The road will change you significantly, but always hold in your mind what it is that you originally set out to do, because you can get really distracted by what the bars and the industry is constantly telling you to become, and that's not why you started. That's not why you started, and that's not why you feel so passionate about doing what you have to do. Keep that.
Cool. Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. All right, so let's get into some music, shall we?
Okay.
Can you guys play us something?
Sure.
I'd love to hear. I'd love everyone to hear you.
All right, hold on one second. Here, take that real quick.
Okay.
What do you want? Do you want candy?
I guess so. Yeah.
Am I playing the bass or am I playing?
Sure. Why not?
We'll see if we can hear. Let's go. The sound won't be its best because we don't have everything we need at the moment for this kind of thing. So you may not hear the bass super well, but it's. These are our very trusty instruments here.
There we go.
Candy and Theo, they've seen many a tour, collected many a drop of blood.
Oh, I'm sure.
And lots of sweat.
So I'm going to root myself from the stream. That way the focus can be on
Let's
you.
do a Colorado Brew.
Well, most of our fans know the story behind this one, but since you're a story man, we'll kind of fill you in just a little bit.
So I'm going to take myself off stream.
It was our very first tour as a band. We're touring through Colorado, and we were hitting the drink a little hard because, when you get out on the road, you're kind of paid in beer a lot of times. And Jet had maybe a couple too many, and this guy came up from LA, and he said, "Hey, I'm a reggae rapper from LA, and I'm really good, and I want to come up and improvise with you guys. Like, I want to, do something with you." And we're like, "Well, sweet, we love rap. Why not come on up?" And Jet was all about it. He said, "Yeah, come on up, man." And me and the drummer were like, "Well, maybe it's not we don't know who this guy is. We're in a family-friendly environment. Like, it was an early show, so families were hanging out." And let the guy come up there, started playing, and he just started spitting the worst profanities and just something that's not for a family-friendly environment. Parents were holding their hands over their kids' ears, no joke. Everybody started getting up to leave. We couldn't get the guy off the stage. He was just going for it, and his buddies were like, "Woohoo!" And we're like, "Ah!" So we had to turn off the PA system, everything, lights, the whole shebang, just to get the guy to stop.
Wow.
And so it prompted this little song here called Colorado Brew, and now we laugh about that situation, but it was a little devastating at first.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Well, there's a couple making out
At the bar,
and the lady's staring at me
I don't know why,
as if I had 2 heads.
and only one eye.
Oh, but I shouldn't worry.
It's not my fault,
And I know that I sound great.
and confused
But if you were here, then you would know
what to do.
Well, there's a man that wants my mic.
He won't let go.
Oh, and this place is getting crazy.
Out of control.
And it's like I'm up here all alone. And you're too far away. And I know I couldn't stay, but I just can't wait to tell you. So I'm calling you on Colorado Cruise. So I play another song.
It worked this time.
But not a person sings along.
That's no surprise.
So I play the same song twice.
I don't know why.
Oh, but you know I shouldn't worry.
It's not my fault.
And it's like I'm up here all alone. And all these heady times make for missing you. So I draw courage from the tap.
At the bar,
I empty yet another glass.
like before.
But it's not stopped. So it's your number that I dial.
Tear in my eye.
And it's like I'm up here all alone. So I empty out my glass. And I thank you for the laughs. It's just what I needed to get through. Worth more to me than any Colorado Cruise.
Love it. I love it. I love that back and forth. It's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on Breakpoint Now. I'm really excited to work with you guys in the future.
Likewise.
You know,
yeah.
we'll definitely, hopefully, once things kind of calm down, we can get back to normal a little bit. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. And another big shout out to Mark Mokel for hooking this up.
Yes. Thank you, Mark.
Shout out to your parents that are watching too.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Okay, guys?
Thank you, Jesse.
Stay groovy, man. See ya.
Easy. Well, there we go. That was another episode of Breakpoint Now. Thanks for tuning in again. I'd like to shout out some of the sponsors that we have, artistrewards.com, as well as gettheplugs.com. You check them out. They've been so gracious to sponsor us, so you check them out. Also, if you guys want to check me out on IG, I'm at jesse.breakpoint.booking. Also, check out Breakpoint Booking on all social media where you can find it. But yeah, once again, thank you for tuning in. We will check you guys next week, and you guys all stay safe. Please go out and vote. It's very important that you get your voice heard. It doesn't matter who you're voting for. Just make sure you do that. Okay. It's a civil duty that we need to exercise. So you guys all take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.